Edric Storm is an interesting example of how a missing character story is implemented into the show in a way that doesn't really change much, possibly even adding more depth and emotional connection for the audience. Edric Storm is one of the numerous bastards fathered by King Robert Baratheon, but one of the few to be acknowledged by him due to his mother being high-born. Much like all of Robert Baratheon's two children, Edric has the traditional Baratheon look with jet black hair and deep blue eyes. It's said he resembles his father in his youth with his characteristic hair, eyes, jawline and cheekbones. Edric also has large ears, common of his mother's house, Florence. He's noted as being charming and courteous, fierce and proud. In this respect, he shares several similarities to his uncles, Stannis and Renly Baratheon. Edric was conceived by King Robert and Dallena Florent on the wedding night of Lord Stannis Baratheon to Selyse Florent in 287 AC. Dallena was Selyse Florent's cousin. Stannis saw his brother's actions on the night of his wedding in his marriage bed as a massive insult and would cause great animosity between the two for many years. Stannis would send the boy to Storm's End to be raised by his other uncle, Renly Baratheon. Sir Cortnay Penrose, the Castellan of Storm's End, acted as Edric's guardian and was noted of being fond of the boy. As Dallena was a noblewoman, Robert had to acknowledge the boy as his son. He sent Edric gifts every year on his name day. They are said to have included a pony, a sable cloak, and a child-sized warhammer, similar to his father's weapon. Edric would write to his father thanking him for the gifts, but upon receiving the letters, the king would laugh and ask Varys the Spider what he'd sent the boy this year. Edric first properly appeared during a clash of kings. As Stannis Baratheon tells Davos Seaworth, he intends to use Edric's resemblance to his father as proof Queen Cersei Lannister's children by Robert, Joffrey, Tommen and Myrcella, were in fact fathered by her brother, Sir Jaime Lannister. This could perhaps be why Stannis and Jon Arryn were tracking down as many of Robert's bastards as they could before Arryn's murder, to build a more convincing case. After the death of Renly, Stannis offers the garrison of Storm's End to go free if Edric is handed over. However, Sir Cortnay Penrose resisted, not knowing Stannis' intent with the boy. However, after Penrose fell to his death at the hands of Melisandre's dark magic, Stannis takes Storm's End and ships both Melisandre and Edric back to Dragonstone. Edric next appears during a storm of swords. Still on Dragonstone, he spends his time with his cousin, Stannis' daughter, Shireen Baratheon, and her fool Patchface. The two seem to get on well. Edric comes down with a chill, so Maester Pylos leeches him. Edric faces pressure to convert to the Lord of Light like many of Stannis' followers. He remains loyal to the faith of the Seven. Melisandre pressures Stannis to burn Edric, as she believes he has king's blood, being Robert's son. She believes by sacrificing his royal blood that it would wake dragons from stone in the depths of Dragonstone. Sir Davos Seaworth pressures Stannis to spare him. For now, Davos seems to have convinced the king at this point, and instead Edric is leeched, and the blood from the leeches then used in a ritual to curse Stannis' three rival kings, Joffrey Baratheon, Balon Greyjoy and Robb Stark. Subsequently, Balon falls from Pike, Robb is killed at the Red Wedding, and Joffrey is poisoned at his own wedding to Margaery Tyrell. So seemingly the ritual had some power, or perhaps it was just a coincidence. Worried that after the success of the leech ritual, Stannis would be more open to burning Edric, Davos, with the help of Pylos, secretly ships Edric away to the free cities aboard a ship. Edric wanted to say farewell to Shireen and Stannis, not truly knowing the situation, but Davos, speaking as Stannis' hand of the king, insists there is no time. He appoints Andrew Estamont, Edric's cousin, to act as his guardian. Davos had to defend his actions to an angry Stannis and a very disappointed Melisandre, worsening Davos' already distrustful relationship with her. It's after this Stannis sails north to the Wall. Edric and the Protectors sailed across the narrow sea, past the step zones to Essos. Last we hear of him, that he's in hiding in Lys. Now, Edric was cut from the show, but like many other cases such as this, his role was given to another character. In this case, the way in which the show does this works well and fits. The key points of Edric's story is given to another of Robert Baratheon's bastards, one the audience knows well, Gendry. In the books, the last we see of Gendry parts ways with Arya to join the Brotherhood without banners. It is here he picks up the key parts of Edric's story. Melisandre finds the Brotherhood and takes Gendry to Dragonstone, where he takes on Edric's role with some minor differences. His main interactions comes from Davos, but as Maester Pylos is not in the show, it is Melisandre who uses the leeches to collect the blood for the ritual under the pretense of seducing Gendry. After the death of Stannis' rivals, proving the excess of using king's blood, he is convinced to burn Gendry. Much like in the book, he is set free by Davos, with the exception that Gendry is given a rowboat and left on his own. The question here, is Gendry's role in the later seasons his own or also Edric's? This is complicated further when you consider that we're yet to find out if Gendry will even have a role in the Winds of Winter, or even Edric for that matter. The feeling I got from the book is we've seen the last of Edric. Maybe he'll appear in the last book, being legitimised and made Lord of Storm's End, but I don't think he'll have a big role. Gendry is another question that is right now impossible to answer. Opposed to Val, Edric is a much more minor character, but what we can say is that this is a good example of a cut character story to be given to one that is in the show. And in this case, it works very well with Gendry also being a bastard of Robert, and with the audience having an established relationship with him. They could have introduced Edric, but the audience wouldn't really have cared. He would be almost a stranger. By giving Gendry the role, you fear for Gendry, you worry that he may actually be burned. But with Edric, I don't think people really would have cared as much. I'm not what you would call a book purist. I do understand the reasons the show has to change things. Sometimes I think these changes are bad, and when we get to those points I will talk about it. But I do think the show also does need to be praised when it does make changes, and they make sense and do well. Right now the plan is to do one history and lore video, then one theory and speculation, or a missing characters video. I like doing these missing character videos because they don't quite take as long to write and edit, and it means that I can get them out quicker. Even though they're still coming out weekly, it gives me more time to spend on the editing of the history and lore videos, which do take an obscene amount of editing to make it as good as I want them to be. However, the weekly video thing's only for now. I'd expect to do a lot more videos during Season 8. I'm going to do reviews and breakdowns. Depending on how many people watch these videos, I may even consider doing a podcast or some kind of long form video talking about each episode. Anyway, thanks for watching. Any feedback would be great.